and welcome to Fourlane's webinar. I am Denise Ortiz, a senior consultant here at Fourlane. We are going to discuss intercompany transactions. With the intercompany transactions today, we're going to go over setting up, using in transactions, and reporting. So here I will have two QuickBooks files open. I have one that's called Anafia Manufacturing. This is our main file, or you may have it considered the corporate file. This will be the one that distributes and makes payments and then makes the entries into the destination files for the sub-companies. So in QuickBooks with intercompany transactions, there are a couple of options. In QuickBooks Enterprise Desktop version, there is an in-product intercompany transaction module. That's what we'll go through today. In QuickBooks Online Advanced and below subscriptions, it does not have any native intercompany modules, so you will have to make manual entries in each of those company files. And as well as the QuickBooks Online Enterprise Suite, it has some capabilities where it has an in-product module. However, it will post journal entries between the two company files. Alternately, if you're not going to use the intercompany feature within Enterprise, you can always do the manual entries of manually entering in a bill in one file and journal entries in the other file. So in our main company here, I am logged in as admin. I am signed in as with single user mode, and I'm also signed in with my Intuit account as well. This will have to be done on both files. So toggling over to my secondary, my destination file, I am signed in here as well as admin, single user, and I am signed into my Intuit account as well here. Okay, so back over to our main account, main file. We will start with making a couple of ledger accounts. So if I come up to my chart of accounts, I have created two accounts. So I can filter it out here. So I have a other current asset account that is the due from destination file. And I also set up an other current liability, the flip side, the due to destination file. With the intercompany module, it does ask for the two accounts, the to and from. Now, I set it up two separate account types, but you can set up one account type that is both a due to and due from, and use that account again. So this is our main account that I set it up, and I did the same thing as well in my destination file. So I did a due from. I can filter it out so we can just look at those. I did a due from Anafia, our main company. And then I also did a due to Anafia is other current liability. So those are all set up and ready to go. Now the next step that we have to do is create that relationship between the two files. So coming back over to our main file, okay, in our intercompany module, so this can be found in company, intercompany transactions. So what you'll need to do is start that relationship, okay? I already started it. What you will have to do here is create a relationship, and it'll tell you need to be signed into your Intuit account so it can see it on the back end, those two files. Okay. What you'll need to do is start with your intercompany relationships. So I have one started that is pending for approval. It has been sent, it's pending. What I did to make this destination file and get connected is I chose to create a relationship, ensuring that I am logged in on both files to my Intuit account. And then you're going to search for your files. So then I would search for the file that I want to make as my destination where the transactions will post to. Once I find that, I would click the continue button. What I'm going to do from here is cancel, and I'll show you what that looks like. So in this destination file for Intercompany, what the next step I would see is I'm going to choose from my Anafia account, the main corporate account, what is it going to be my due from account, and which one's going to be my due to account. This is where the transactions post in the sending file. Okay. So once I create that relationship and I send it for approval, what I will see in my destination file, same area, my intercompanies, which again can be found in company menu option. On this dashboard, in order to complete that circle, I'm in my relationships tab. This one is pending my approval. So it's waiting for me to approve and accept that relationship, that linkage. So I have, it's going to be linked with my Anafia manufacturing file. So I have either approve or reject. So I'm going to approve it. And now I need to map within my destination file, that receiving file, my to and from accounts. So for this one, it's going to be my due from account is going to be due from Anafia, and then due to my Anafia account, those main accounts that are sending the transactions over. And then I'm going to click to approve the relationship. We have completed our relationships. Now, still staying in our destination file, I do not have any more pending for approval. I do see if I were to reject any of those relationships, they would be located here. But if I click my Approve tab, now I can see I am linked and ready to go with my main company file. Okay, and then let's look back in our main company file. Okay, back on our dashboard, let me click the Refresh button. And now I can see my sent for approval has now been cleared, and I can see it's now been approved. My destination file has accepted that relationship. So now that we've created that linkage and we set up the relationship, we'll enter in some transactions. A couple of things to consider when using this intercompany module is that the intercompany feature only works with bills and check types of transactions. Okay. The other thing to consider is that it does not use items. It will only post to GL accounts. And the other thing to consider is that it will only do one transaction line per transaction. So if you're trying to do, say, from a main company and you want to have it being dispersed to more than one company file that you are linked to, you'll have to create individual bills and or check types of transactions. Okay, so now that I'm here in my main company file, I'm going to open up a bill. Okay, and I can see now I have my intercompany transaction button enabled and ready for me to use. So I'm going to click on this button first, and it's also warning me you can only do one line at a time. And if we also notice, the bill kind of changed. We do not have the expense or the items tab anymore. And we also have a flag indicating it's an intercompany type of transaction. So from here, I can enter in who am I going to be paying. So maybe this is going to be an insurance vendor. Okay, so let's add in an insurance vendor. I will enter in the date, all the same information as I normally would for a bill, and our dollar amount. Okay, now the one thing that will change from here, I need to choose which company file is this going to be destined for. So if I had more than one file, I would be listing each one. So we're going to choose the destination file. And upon that initial mapping that we did when we created that relationship, it automatically is choosing the account. I can also change the account if I needed to, but this would be used for those intercompanies. Then I'm going to associate the dollar amount. I can add in a memo if I so choose also. Okay, so once I save this, I will see now that it's flagged as pending in my main file. Let's look at our intercompany dashboard in our main file. I'll do a quick refresh. And now I'm going to look at our transactions tab. Okay, so I have the same boxes. So pending my approval, rejected, approved, or sent for approval. And here's our bill that we sent, and we can see that it's still pending. Okay. What I'll also show you here, since it is pending, let's pull up a balance sheet. Okay, so in here in our balance sheet, nothing has been posted as of yet because it's still pending the approval by the destination folder. Okay, so let's go over to our destination file. I'll do a quick refresh. And again, we have the same tab, so I'm going to go to the transaction tab. And then I can see pending my approval. So I see that it was a bill that was originally entered in the main company file. And it's going to post to the due to Anafia file, that main file that we designated when we created that initial mapping. And from here, since it's going to be an expense on this file, I'll choose which GL account I want that to be posted to. So since it was insurance, I'm going to choose my insurance expense, the full dollar amount, and then I'll approve it. Okay, so now it's giving me confirmation that it has been approved, and a journal entry has been created in our destination file. Okay, so now that we have a transaction in here, let's see what kind of reports that we can see. Now, out of the box, there are no main reports within QuickBooks that provide us what is specific intercompany transactions. What you can do, if you so choose, back on the chart of accounts, you can drill down into these accounts and do some quick reports to see the transactions. So we can see our journal entry. So that would be one way, by doing quick reports based on your GL accounts. Okay. What I'd also like to show you is our financials. So if I come to my profit and loss, I can see I have been debited my insurance expense on my profit and loss. And I can see on my balance sheet now I have a due to balance on my balance sheet. Again, I can do the same thing. Once I see this GL account on my balance sheet, I can drill down into the transaction and see what it consists of. Going down further into the journal entry itself, I can see it assigned the next consecutive number. It posted debit to my insurance, credit to my liability account, and it's very basic information. It's just saying insurance vendor. Okay, so that's where it's coming from the main company file. Otherwise, it's just very basic information that's going to populate within here. All right, now let's look on the flip side at our main company file. What happened there? So back in our intercompany transaction dashboard, I'll do a quick refresh. Now I can see pending my approval, nothing's in here, nothing's rejected. And now I see that my transaction that I sent over to destination file has been approved. Okay. Doing the same thing on my balance sheet again. So now I can see on my balance sheet, financials have been posted. So my due from destination file has the $1,000. And I should not see anything on my profit and loss because this file did not incur that expense. It's hitting on the destination file. And those are some of the reportings. Those are some of the transactions and how we set it up. Now, this feature may or may not provide all that you need for intercompany transactions. Again, it will post a bill or a check type of transaction from the sending company file, but will post a journal entry on the receiving company file. So those are some things to consider when using the in-product intercompany feature within QuickBooks Enterprise. Now, what I may suggest to you as well, something to consider, is once you do create and use this intercompany feature, like you create that initial relationship and you sync the files together, you cannot remove or disconnect the feature. Okay, so it will always be connected. Now, you don't have to use the feature for it, but you cannot disconnect it. What I would also suggest is if you want to test this to see if it's going to give you all that you need, is create a sandbox file for both companies that you want to connect to and do some testing before you actually initiate it in your live company file. Now, the other option would be, instead of using the in-product tool, would be to manually do entries. So I could manually also create a bill, say to insurance vendor. For this time, I'll say, get a reference number in there, and I can say maybe $250. So in this instance, I can just physically go to and post it to the GL account this way. Then I would save it, and then I can go back into my destination file and create the journal entry manually in the destination file. So if you do not want to use the intercompany feature, it will be manual efforts. Okay. So I do hope that you found some valuable insights on how the in-product intercompany feature can work for you. Thank you and have a great day.